Today I want to talk about Six the Musical, a show that has many references to other artists and songs, but I want to focus specifically on one reference that is weaved into the show as bookends in a way that is more amazing than you might expect. This is how Greensleeves works in Six. Now, when I say Greensleeves is in Six, you may be thinking, yeah, duh. Obviously that's not a secret. When you see the live show, it actually begins with the 16th century tune played on a harpsichord. And then it's reinforced with an electronic dance version in the song that follows, the opening number known as Ex-Wives. Hell, it's even embedded in the melody that's playing underneath the queens when they sing their very first notes.
And tonight we are...
And Greensleeves is even accompanying them in the verses. To see what I mean, if you just take the accompaniment and extract those two bass notes, and add two missing notes, you get Greensleeves again. And apart from the melody, Greensleeves is also name-checked by the characters in the show.
Well, my sleeves may be green.
As well as in the costume of Anne Boleyn, who literally has a green dress with these green sleeves. Or green cuffs? Let's put a pin in that for now.
Henry sent me a poem about my green sleeves.
Now, why has Six doubled down on these Greensleeve references? Well, it's because there's a legend about King Henry VIII writing the song Greensleeves for and about Anne Boleyn.
That was Greensleeves, a traditional English ballad about the beheaded Anne Boleyn,
which has been debunked as a dubious myth.
The first time Greensleeves actually appears is 1580, and Henry VIII was long dead by then.
But still, it gets retold so often that anything involving Henry VIII has to have Greensleeves in it, including in the Tudors TV show where we see Henry VIII composing Greensleeves. But despite these dubious origins, Greensleeves still works as a historical reference to King Henry VIII, and in the show Six, it also works as a reference to the relationship Henry VIII had with Anne Boleyn, and by extension with each of his six queens. In fact, the Greensleeves of the title is said to be a historical metaphor of a woman who got some green sleeves because she was rolling around in the hay a lot.
Would you like to have a roll in the hay?
So basically, the Greensleeves of the green dress are about desire and getting naughty with the object of that desire, which really changes how you might hear the carol "What Child Is This" at Christmas time. In fact, Greensleeves was so well known for its not safe for work themes that in The Merry Wives of Windsor, Shakespeare writes a line of dialogue where a character mentions Greensleeves in order to contrast it against its polar opposite, the wholesome and morally upright Psalm 100 from the Bible.
They do no more adhere and keep place than the 100th psalm to the tune of green sleeves.
But to me, the real genius of how Greensleeves is used is the way in which Six creators, Toby, Marlow, and Lucy Moss, weave Greensleeves into their song storytelling so that it represents the growth of our six queens. And the way Marlow and Moss do this is through using Greensleeves as a musical bookend for the show. What it means at the beginning of the show and at the end of the show is quite different. But then you might be asking, Greensleeves doesn't really show up at the end of Six, does it? Actually, it does. But to figure out how, this requires some explanation of the less obvious, more secret ways Greensleeves was embedded into the opening number. What I'm talking about is the fragment of Greensleeves that comes in when the queens sing, Now, when I initially listened to the Six soundtrack, my ears couldn't help but be drawn to how strange this part of the song sounded, and there's a reason for that. This melody comes directly from Greensleeves. But to make it super obvious that it's from Greensleeves, the melody actually contradicts the harmony of the song in two big ways. To understand what I mean, I'll actually play what ex-wives would have sounded like if the melody conformed to the harmony of the song. But that's not what we get. Let's listen again to the original. See, there's a problem in this opening number. The queens are merely ex-wives, a label that constricts and controls how they are able to be remembered. So when they sing the words, "We used to be 6 wives," the melody of Greensleeves is shoehorned against their will into the harmony of the song. The first musical contradiction is on the word be. The word be is set up with 2 previous corresponding musical phrases,
Historemix and the Greensleeves.
both of which hit a top note of A flat. We fully expect the third go-around to also hit an A flat, but then we get
Used to be 6.
which surprises us with a top note of A natural, contradicting those previous A flats and subtly muddying up our sense of key. To be clear, Greensleeves is often performed with the flatted version of this note, as well as the natural version. So it's definitely a choice that A natural is forced in there. And in fact, that version of Greensleeves with the A natural in it is the version we hear at the very top of the show, as well as in the instrumental accompaniment. Remember this? So yeah, they were setting us up to hear it. The other musical contradiction is on the word wives, which outlines a B flat major chord, which means that this melody is as stable and as normal a melody as you can get. But the chord that is supporting this B flat major chord is actually F major. If the Queens sang an F major chord, they could easily have avoided this contradiction. But once again, they are straitjacketed into performing the melody with no alterations. So in essence, the Queens are forced to make this Greensleeves reference against the structure of their own song. And that would be interesting enough, except that Marlow and Moss don't just leave it there. They actually bring back Greensleeves toward the end of the show in a way that resolves the contradictions, thus freeing the Queens from this straitjacket. In the finale of the show 6, which is also called 6, the Queens reimagine history, or herstory, where they own their queendom and where they can thrive beyond Henry VIII being in their life, because after all, Henry VIII is famous because of them and not the other way around. Instead of being reduced to objects of desire of King Henry VIII, the Queens assert their own narrative.
So I picked up a pen and a microphone.
The reimagining of history and this owning of the Queen's own power results in a reharmonization of the ex-wives song, this time when we hear it.
To be 6 wives.
The melody of Greensleeves does not contradict the harmony, but works with it. The B-flat major melody is now sung over a B-flat major chord, making it congruent. But that's not all. Remember how that A natural in the opening number violated our sense of key? Well, another reason it stood out is because it created a dissonance with its bass note B-flat. But in the finale, the final time the Queens sing
Used to be 6.
and thus the last time they reference Greensleeves, the A natural is now supported by an F major chord, and A natural is one of the notes in F major,
Used to be 6.
making it completely congruent as well. That means the A natural contradiction set up at the beginning of the show has now been fully resolved, and this resolution leads us into a modulation.
But now we're one of a kind.
Finally, the Queens are able to escape their original key and transcend up. See, that Greensleeves melody is kind of like their marriage to Henry VIII. It's a fact that can't be changed. They are handcuffed to history, if you will. I mean, Anne Boleyn literally wears green cuffs. But here at the end, the Queens realize that they can change how they view that history. In other words, how they harmonize and accompany that melody, so that it no longer defines them, but they get to define it and go far beyond it. Or to use the Queen's own word, it's a process best described as
Historemix.
watched the video, but part of the video you saw some footage from Shoshana.
Hey!
Shoshana, introduce yourself.
That's me. I'm Shoshana, aka BwaySHO, and I love Six. I was here filming for opening night. We were invited to film the first number from reopening night on Broadway. Absolutely wild.
So thank you so much, and we'll hopefully be collaborating more in the future.
I love that. Thanks for having me. See you at the show.
Thanks for watching the video. I'd like to thank my patrons on Patreon. Please subscribe for more music and musical theater breakdowns, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.